let me tell you a quick little story about a good friend of mine in college. And I think it relates a little bit to Holly's situation and group therapy, which we'll get to here in a few minutes. But he had dated this girl in high school, and we were in college. And so they had continued to remain boyfriend, girlfriend, right? And so, they were pretty serious, and, he was looking at a future, and he's in the pre-med program, just like I was for a half a semester. And so his ambition was to become a doctor and all that. And then let's cut to a few months later. She gives him this really random sort of gift for Christmas, which he's kind of scratching his head about, like, this is weird. Not a whole lot of money was spent. Not that makes a whole lot of difference, but it was almost like a afterthought sort of gift. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so then he then finds out by just circumstances that she decided to go ahead and start dating an actual doctor.
Oh.
As opposed to one who is in training, struggling right now, financially, eating ramen noodles.
Seems a little impatient.
That sort of thing. So she started dating a doctor behind his back, but then they ended up breaking up. She ends up marrying him. And so that's where the story of them kind of ends. He now is a very successful doctor and is doing very well.
And he could say, "How you like me now?"
Yeah, I mean, and honestly,
his ex-girlfriend's probably divorced.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know much about his ex-girlfriend at this point. I only knew her through him, and so she could be doing well as well, or she could be like kind of looking back and going, well, what could have been, sort of thing.
Okay.
So I don't know if Holly needs to hear that story or not, but we'll get into Holly's situation here in just a second. She's a little worried about being roasted for what she's going to admit to us. And it is a question that kind of relates to finances and relationships. All right?
All right.
All right. So we'll get into that group therapy coming up here next.
When you need advice, come to Ben and Kelly. It's group therapy on 99.7 DJX.
So Holly, not her real name, says, "Hey, Ben and Kelly, at the risk of being roasted by your listeners, I got a question and I'm hoping for some unbiased advice."
Okay.
Can we do that?
All right.
Anyway, I'm recently engaged to the most honest, thoughtful, and loving man I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
He's supported me through many hard times, including losing my job and being assaulted.
Ooh.
Here's the but about him. He makes no money. He has ambitions and he's smart, but will likely only bring a middle-class income at best. I have an okay job and I'm self-sufficient. But here's the but about me. I'm really, really pretty. My whole life, people have told me I could get any man I want, meaning a rich man, and are shocked that I'm engaged to my fiancé, nice though he is.
Mm-hmm.
I've never dated a rich man, but it does make me curious. So part of me thinks I'm squandering my good looks on this poor guy, and the other part of me thinks that I'm so shallow I don't even deserve him or anyone else. Am I a fool for thinking that a poor man can make me happy, or an idiot for believing in this wild fantasy?
Wow. Okay. Now, okay, so the part where she says there are several things about her message to us, but the part where she says, part of me thinks that I'm so shallow I don't even deserve him or anyone else. That to me says that she knows that maybe she is being shallow for thinking this.
Yes.
And
you're not marrying a bank account. You're marrying a person. And if he's your person, he's your person. Period, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, if, I like the idea of building a future together, like you and your fiance kind of build something from scratch, whether that is a family or whether it's an empire of just you and he together, like both incomes, I feel like that's part of the fun of growing up with someone is being there when they were at this point and supporting them and seeing them and being there emotionally, physically, and whatever for them as they achieve some greater things in their life.
That is building a life together.
And now
she says he has ambitions and he's smart.
Right, exactly. So
it's not like he's lazy and just doesn't want to work.
Brandon rolls in and says, look, mo money, mo problems.
There you go.
If you got more money, maybe there's more problems. So maybe, be careful what you wish for, sort of thing.
Now, listen, Holly was afraid of being roasted. Christy says, and this is how we start a new year? Be better, people. You sound like you're 16. I'm so pretty, and he makes money, but not enough for my level of pretty. Someone who knows this man, please, for the love of God, tell him to run.
All right, well, let's say we don't necessarily do that just yet, okay?
Okay.
Because I think that she kind of knows, and if people are in her ear whispering, look, you could get any guy you want. Why are you marrying this guy?
Then she needs probably better friends.
This is true, but but my point was, it can start to affect how you think. Right. It can start to affect how you think rationally about something. And
you need to hold yourself to higher standards, honey.
And maybe you start thinking, oh, well, maybe I am selling myself short. Maybe I should go for some other person. I'm going to tell you a story about me and my wife. All right. Coming up here in just a minute. And then I also want to hear your story about maybe you got a best case scenario where you were the Holly in this situation and you have this is what happened to me when I did this. All right. We'd love to hear that. All right. 502-795-1997 is our number. And we'll get to those on the way next on 99.7 DJX. If you're just joining us, Holly, not a real name, recently engaged to a great guy. Honest, loving, has supported her through some tough times. However, he's broke and she's hot. People have asked her why she's, quote, settling on this guy because she could have any rich dude she wants. So now it's kind of gotten into her head and she's questioning everything.
Yes, and she's she knows how it sounds. Like she has even said, I wonder if I'm just way too shallow and don't even deserve anybody.
Yeah, Sandra
saying this out loud.
Yeah, Sandra says, look, it's easy for everyone to attack this girl for being honest because you don't feel the way she does. My opinion is that if she has doubts this soon, it's probably not going to work out. Relationships are partnerships, and she needs to feel at least an equal partner. Okay.
Amanda said, it's posts like this that make me glad to be old, chunky, and simply okay looking. If I had been pretty when I was young, I may have felt like this, like I was squandering my looks.
Lisa texted us and said a lot of, quote, be kind New Year's resolutions about to be broken in one group therapy.
Yeah.
So, real quick story. My wife's ex-boyfriend, who she was with before she and I got together, right? Didn't, obviously work out between them. But a quick story about money and your choices, right? So, her ex-boyfriend, had moved to New York, and he and a friend wrote a couple, I guess, screenplays. One of those was for Dodgeball. Yes, the Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller movie, Dodgeball.
Oh, wow. And
pitched it to several studios. They all said, nah, we don't want it. Then later, they go to the movie theater to literally watch their screenplay play out on the big screen. So they sue, and now he's a millionaire.
Oh, wow.
So my point is, look, we all make choices, and maybe at the time, obviously it didn't work out with him for reasons beyond just the fact that it was, we were young and all that stuff.
But have you ever, for a hot second, after hearing that update to his story, stopped to think, oh, I wonder if she's ever thought about how?
Oh, I've said that to her face. I'm like, well, gosh, you probably could have been a millionaire had you stayed with him. And she
ever thought about that other door you closed?
Yeah, right. So I mean, and obviously she just is like, no.
Exactly.
Like literally, she was like, I would have been miserable with him, and that's why I'm not with him, obviously. So if I think getting back to this point, it is an indication that if you're questioning things right now, that maybe there isn't a long future ahead of you. But I want to go back to something I said earlier, and there's something to be said about building a future. And how great would it be if you've even described your fiance as having ambition and being honest and thoughtful and loving? I mean, these are great qualities
that you can't find in just anyone.
Right, exactly. And so, maybe a rich dude, if you decide to go that route, won't have those same qualities. And then you'll soon realize maybe what your core values are and what you do value in a relationship. So I say try to build a future with this dude. Now,
if he's your guy, then you stick with him regardless of the financial situation. That can always change if he has the ambition, which he does.
Right.
It would be a different story if he had zero ambition and he didn't want to even try and just wanted you to support him.
Right.
That's different.
Right.
That
would
be difficult.
Right. And so it'll be that much sweeter when your horse rides into town. If that makes any sense.
Riding together.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, hey, good luck. Keep us posted. That is Group Therapy.